near Los Angeles. My grandparents came from Russia. They were German. So my name being Berg, that's German name. My dad was born in Kansas. And he died at 98 years of age. So I'm trailing right along behind him. I can't remember things at all. I'm trying to remember the town that I was born in. It was where Disneyland is now. I was born right in there. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was born in Bavaria on my mother's side. His name was Teller. And because of the war between the Christians, the Catholics and the Protestants, that their town was burnt down in Bavaria. And so he moved to Holland. And then they only had one boy. And he migrated to the United States when he was just about 21 and got married at the same time. So what I'm saying is, on my mother's side, they came to the United States in the very, very early days. And they were what they called tobacconists, which means traders. But on my father's side, his mother and father were born in the Ukraine. And they migrated to the United States when they just were kids. And we are pretty sure they first met there on that ship and sailed from Odessa. And when they got to Kansas, they got married there. So we assume that my dad's family got started, were born in Kansas, the first of them, and they moved to and then the rest of them were born there in hell. Okay. Anyhow, so my dad was raised in Disneyland. And my mother was born in Washington, the state of Washington. But her mother died when she was 12, and they moved, her dad and her family moved to Los Angeles, where his sister lived. I was just starting high school when the depression hit. We were farmers, small farmers, and some of my uncles and other relatives lived there in Manteca, California. Manteca, California. So I went to high school in Manteca High School. Then we moved to Oregon because we'd be better off there, which we were not. And I instead of finishing high school in Oregon, I went and I just helped my dad on the farm. The reason I went to Spain, I was in the U.S. Army in the Presidio of Monterey. And I'd been there. Well, I joined it in January, and Franco started in July. And it was not because I liked to do something great, but I liked the idea of helping the Spanish people. No political understanding, not really any political understanding, but I think there was enough said about what fascism was, what Hitler meant, and what Mussolini stood for, that it was just in the air. There was enough said about that so that I really was oriented against that kind of thing. I didn't know why, but I was very affected by the fascist attempt to take over in Spain. I couldn't tell you why. I just didn't like the idea. And that was my political understanding. I didn't like what them SOBs were doing. So I bought out of the Army. Then I didn't know how to get to Spain. Till one day I was going to work in Hollywood as a dishwasher in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. And I see on the side of a building, Friends of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. I turned the corner, went up there, tell them I want to go to Spain. They could not do that legally they could not do it legally. Other thing, that was not just what they were doing. It was through the North American Medical Committee to Aid Spain, I think you call it. It was through them that I found out how to get to Spain. But the woman here at the Friends, she told me, well, we can't send you to Spain, but you do want to help, don't you? I said, oh, hell yeah, I want to help. And so they sent me to the North American Committee, and they put me to work. I must have licked 10,000 stamps and envelopes. In other words, I helped develop big meetings, and we had big auditorium full of people all the time. There was that much concern for the people of Spain that of course I helped organize the meeting in my own little way all the time, and so that I heard more and more about what the issues were in Spain just by working with this support committee. And I didn't have to change my ideas or thinkings. I thought in that way as a poor farmer, see? And as a poor farm kid. Anyhow, so I went out and picked up clothes to send to Spain and helped organize meetings for about 6 months, 4 months anyhow. I left New York July the 11th of 38 on my way to Spain. And I got out of the U.S. Army July the 3rd in 37. So you see the time between. But it wasn't that I was trying to get politically smart. It was just because there was a broad movement in the country and all over the world to aid the Spanish people and fight fascism in Spain. And I think little by little I just became a part of it. It became a part of my life because I wanted to be a part of that and help that. So finally, a kid that was too young to go told me, "You want to go to Spain?" "Yeah, I'll tell you who to go see." And they told me who to see. I went in, and I had my Army discharge. I wanted to prove to whoever I was talking to that I had military experience, and I went in there. I went into his office, and I want to go to Spain. Okay, I'll tell you what you do. Go get your go get your birth certificate and all these things, and then bring them to me. And then they sent me to a doctor for a physical, and that was the beginning of going. And all the while, I was still working at helping the movement to help Spain, see. Well, so after I got my birth certificate and my passport, got my passport and everything, I was on my way to New York, and they told me who to see in New York, and I was on the boat to Spain. We went to France first. We were legal. There were 4 of us. And then we finally, and I don't want to go into all that because you don't need to, but we crossed the Pyrenees and to the Spanish border, and they sent us to that big fortress in Barcelona, but I don't remember her name. We stayed in a town in France. It was quite a ways from the border, Carcassonne. I remember that. And the Sûreté picked us up. And there were some Germans they picked up too. This I had enough understanding to know that the Germans that were there illegally, because they sneaked out of Germany under Hitler. And I asked some, they'll send them back, the Germans back to Germany. Said, no, this French party won't let them get by with that. And sure enough, when we boarded the bus, the little rinky-dinky bus to go to the border, to go across the Pyrenees, they were all on that bus. Yeah. it was just human feeling, no political understanding, except that I saw it as a poor farmer, a poor farm family. And I think maybe the idea that land was being taken from the big landowners and given to the small farmers, whoo, that was it. That was it. I want to help do that. Okay, quickly. When we got to Figueres, they took us to the fortress of Figueres. From the border, Spanish border, well, Spanish-French border, they took us on bus to the fortress of Figueres. It was built in opposition to Napoleon's attempt to take over Spain. So it was a major fortress in the Barcelona area. So they knew why we were there, and we didn't have to say nothing. And they decided what they were going to do with us, and they sent us to that training base. And English speaking, it was there. Can't think of names. Anyhow, when they looked at my record, his military record, they sent the other guys, the infantry, and they sent me to the artillery. And then from the field artillery, they sent me to anti-aircraft artillery. And I was in that from the rest till the rest of my time in Spain. I had no military training in Spain. For one thing, I didn't need it. I had more military experience than just about all the rest of the guys there. Very few of them had the extensive military experience that I had had. So they didn't argue with me. They sent me to the International Battalion of Anti-Aircraft. And there was a French battery, there was a Czech battery, and there was French. There were 4 batteries and one Spanish battery. Well, Czech, French, German, and I was in that wherever they sent us. See what? We had 76 millimeter anti-aircraft guns. They were some of the biggest guns that were in those days. And they were Soviet guns. And first they sent me to Barcelona. Then they bang back again. They sent me to the front. And then they sent me to, what they was going to do was organize an English-speaking battery also, because they had the 4 batteries already, but they was going to take guys from the infantry and organize an English-speaking battery. So they sent us to the German battery at the front, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't get the guns. So they dispersed those guys back to the infantry, and we heard that about a number of them that were killed after they had gone back to the infantry. But what they did with us that they kept in the battalion was they put us in telephone communications, which stretched lines from one battery to the other and battalion headquarters and wherever else we had them. We laid the line from the when they blew up the bridge on the Ebro, we had to lay the line from their command post to the bridge because their communications outfit had got lost in their retreats. So we were the ones that laid the lines to the blowing up of the bridge in the Ebro. More of the Ebro. There was two more. One was on one side of the river and the other one on the other side. More of the Ebro and Mora Nueva. We were on the Mora Nueva side.